UPS just announced 12,000 layoffs after recently announcing their policy for their employees to return back to work after working from home for 4 years. They want their employees back in the office 5 days a week. I know someone personally who works for UPS, and that when that announcement came out, it was clear that they wanted everyone back into the office February 1st. And just a few days ago, they announced 12,000 layoffs. So if we look at the timeline, it's like, come back into the office so that you can be laid off. Like sheep to the slaughter. Let's get into it. I just recently released a live just this week talking about corporations, how they were requiring employees to come back into the office. And I specifically talked about UPS and these layoffs. It is now a firestorm all over the internet. The news outlets are reeling and the financial platforms are giving an analysis of why is UPS laying off all of these employees and what can we expect over the next couple of weeks and months as it pertains to other corporations. So today I'm going to do a reaction video of Bloomberg's response to this layoff frenzy. If you stay to the end of this video, I'm going to give you some actionable steps that you can take to secure your family's future so that you are not left in the hands and the decision making of corporations. Whether you work in the corporate sector or you're an entrepreneur, you want to stay tuned and watch the video in its entirety. Let's go ahead and jump into this video.
UPS, the shipping company, missing estimates, really as a result of higher labor costs and lower package demand. UPS also announcing it will cut 12,000 jobs and ask workers to return to the office 5 days a week. Simone Foxman, it's a lot to digest within the UPS numbers.
Yeah, that's right. But I think CEO Carol Tomé summing this up well. 2023, she called it, was a unique and difficult year, and that she's focused on controlling what we could control. And that news about those 12,000 job cuts expected, UPS says, to yield $1 billion in savings this year. Remember, put this in the context of that $30 billion agreement that the company struck with its union of Teamsters over the summer. That is a 5-year agreement, but expected to significantly increase those wage costs.
All right, so you heard it there. Guys, honestly, it's about the bottom line. These corporations are concerned about their bottom line and their profitability. They have to answer to their investors on Wall Street before they have to answer to their employees. 12,000 jobs being cut is going to yield $1 billion in saved revenue for UPS, and that's why people are losing their jobs. There is no loyalty to the employee. These corporations have been trying to get rid of employees since 2021. People didn't want to work. They didn't want to come back to the office. So corporations have gathered together. This is the great reset. If jobs can be cut, they will be cut. If they can bring in technology to do the job that 3 people can do, they're going to bring in technology. There is no loyalty to the employee. And if you are an employee who has been let go by UPS or any other corporation recently, my heart sincerely goes out to you. Is this fair? No, it's not fair, but this is the game that corporations play. And UPS is not the first. They will not be the only. We will continue to see job cuts so that these corporations can protect their bottom line. In the video we just heard, the numbers came in for 2023, right? In December, those numbers started trickling in. They knew what it was going to be. They were hoping that December, fourth quarter numbers, they already knew what had happened in October. They saw the numbers for November. So in December, before the numbers even came out and they got the disapproval from their investors after the fourth quarter, they had already made a decision to make these cuts, guys. We're hearing about it on the news, but this decision had already been made when they sent out those emails, had those team meetings requiring that employees come back into the office. And if you have not already, watch the live that I did on Tuesday. Somewhere on this video, I'm going to provide a link for that. But in that video, I stated that corporations are going to require that people come back into the office because they want to do layoffs anyway. They need to do layoffs to maintain profitability and keep the favor of their investors. And therefore, they're requiring people to come back into the office because they know that some employees are going to say, you know what? I'm not coming back into the office, I quit. And if those numbers are not enough, then they're going to do layoffs. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Shipping volumes have tanked. People are now going to stores. They're getting out of the house. They're no longer required to be in their homes. UPS just had to strike a deal with the union workers. So they are trying to recoup. They are covering their butts. They're covering their bottom lines. And unfortunately, the employees are collateral damage. What does that mean for you? You still have to make a living. You still have to take care of your family. You cannot put all your faith and hope in these corporations. You hear statements like, oh, I have a stable job. My job is in a good industry. There is no stability when it comes to a balance sheet. If that balance sheet is off, big business will do whatever they have to do to make sure everything balances out, to make sure that their executives can get their big bonuses. And that is the name of the game. But you have to play this game to win. And that's exactly what we're about to get into. If this is your first time here, my name is Tiffany, and welcome to Launch, Grow Business. I'm here to help you launch and or start your business. Over the last 3 years, I have helped small businesses, and I'm here to help you. So what points do I want to make sure that you and your family are secure? The financial and economic landscape has changed in this country. Cost of living has increased. Inflation is up. Interest rates are up, but salaries have not increased with the cost of living. And there are many Americans who are suffering right now. Many more will suffer if we continue to put all of our faith and expectation in corporations to give you a fair, livable wage. You are going to have to take matters into your own hands. Our education system has conditioned and continues to condition Americans to be factory workers. And we're not just talking about actual factories at this point. We're talking about corporate jobs where you're being forced into these tiny cubicles on these huge floors. You're told you have to be there from 9 to 5 or 8 to 4. You get a 30-minute to 1 hour lunch break. And otherwise, you're just a sitting duck. And in exchange for you being a sitting duck, you're being offered bonuses and raises and pats on the back and employee of the month. No matter what your employer offers you, your salaries are not keeping up with the cost of living, and there is no stability in a corporate job. Now, that's a bold statement, and I'm sure it's going to make some of you upset, but we have to wake up. Here are wake-up calls. This in 2019, when the federal government shut down and people were without jobs for weeks, we were face to face with the exact same situation, and here we are again. In 2020 and 2021, the federal government was handing out checks left and right like Oprah hands out books. And what did it do? It lulled America right on to sleep. Well, here we are in 2024, and these corporations are taking back their power. Let's touch on the way that we're being educated and trained to go into these jobs. Our education system was and is structured for factory workers. And I want to share something with you guys. This comes from a website called thesouljam.com. And the article is the ugly truth about the education system you were never told. John D. Rockefeller poured a significant amount of investment into the education system. He created the General Education Board, and the ultimate cost, $129 million, and provided major funding for schools across the nation, and was very influential in shaping the school system. He didn't exactly conceal his interest and motive in being actively involved in promoting widespread adoption of the education system, and once stated, "I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers." There you have it. We have a nation of workers, and it just does not fit a model for success anymore. Period, point blank, bottom line. And no, I am not saying that I am against people working. I am absolutely for people working smart, but more importantly, people being stakeholders in their own lives and not being blindsided by what they deem is stable. Before I go into a few major points that I truly believe will change your life, I want to make mention of a few things. On Saturday, February 10th, I am hosting a free Launch Your Business workshop. This workshop is free. During the workshop, I'm going to go over 17 steps that I personally have used and learned over the past 17 years to set up a business properly for optimal success. If you're interested in that, you will find the link down in the description below. Also down in the description, you're going to find a launch your business toolkit. If you're not interested in the workshop and you really just want to go at your own pace, you want a tool or a resource you can always look back on to set up a business properly. In that toolkit, I also go over the 17 steps to launch your business. Everything from searching for your business, getting your EIN, should you have a website, everything pertains to setting up a business properly, I include. So check out those links and support the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Point number 1. Everyone may not be an entrepreneur, but everyone can be entrepreneurial. What do I mean by that? You may have heard a lot of horror stories about starting a business. I am not here saying that you need to be the next Mark Zuckerberg. I am here saying that you have skills, you have resources, you have experiences that can generate extra income for your family. I'm not saying sit on YouTube and find all of the money making online hacks and try to pursue those. I'm saying look into your past, look at the gifts and the talents that you have. And it could be something as you really enjoy cleaning up and organizing, or you really enjoy folding clothes. You may be somebody who can't wait till Saturday so that you can wash your car. You spend a lot of time on your lunch break learning how to make your car shiny and how to make it smell good. You may be someone who can bake, someone who likes to cut grass. It brings joy to your heart. You can create income streams off of these things that you love and enjoy, because there are people who hate those things. There are people who hate cutting their grass, who hate washing their car, who can't bake to save their lives, and they would pay you. And it's very simple to start providing these services. Literally, the next time a neighbor comes by your house and compliments you on how good your grass looks, you can have a business card or a flyer or send them a text message sharing how you now are taking on a few other lawns to make some extra money. The same goes for baking or laundry or organizing or cleaning. I am part of several mom groups on Facebook, including groups in my local residential area. There are always moms on there looking for somebody to bake a cake, looking for someone to organize or clean up, or meal prep for them. What skill do you already have? If you hate your job and you hate what you're doing on your job, think about your hobbies. I think of them as skills. You can make money off of those. The gatekeepers are gone. Maybe when you were little, you went to your mom or you went to a teacher, coach, counselor and told them, hey, I want to do this when I become an adult. And they may have discouraged you. They may have told you you're never going to have a future doing that, or you're never going to be able to make a living doing that. Well, they're liars, because now we have the internet. And if you can think it, if you can believe it, you can do it. But you have to believe in yourself. You can't be lazy, and you have to at least do the research, create a plan, and try. The final and most important point I want to make is you should understand money and how to use these companies for you and your family's benefit. What do I mean by that? If you've been working on your job 15 years, you may feel like, hey, it's too late. You've already conditioned yourself at a certain expectation and income level, but it's not too late for you. And it's the perfect time for your kids and your grandkids. For you, you can tap into some of the things that I just mentioned in the previous point, looking back at your skills, looking in your family history. Was your family entrepreneurial? Maybe they owned a construction company or did plumbing. Maybe you know how to do floors well, roofing. Service-based businesses are in high demand, and because so many people have trained their children to go after 4-year degrees, there are huge gaps in the marketplace. Just recently, I had someone come over and pump our septic tank because it was filled with so much rainwater. And during that time, I got to talk to this technician about the septic tank business, because honestly, I would love to own a septic tank business. And I'm sure in the future, I'll be able to acquire one. I was talking to this gentleman about the septic tank business. He was an older gentleman, and he was telling me how these young guys are not interested in the dirty work. There is an opportunity for you to make money in service-based businesses, or just tapping into your hobbies and experiences. But for your kids or your grandkids, you can change the trajectory. You can change the narrative. I honestly didn't learn how money worked until I became an adult. And there is a particular book that I read. I'm going to leave a link to that book down in the description below. This book teaches a very simple path to wealth. It taught me that if you save 50% of your income for 10 years, just 10 years, you get out of college, you get that first job, you save 50% of your income for 10 years, and you invest it into an index fund. I personally have Vanguard, and I don't have an affiliate link, and I'm not being sponsored by them. I literally use Vanguard because of the low fees. But if you invest that money for 10 years into an index fund, by the end of the 10 years, you'll be able to do whatever it is you want. Now, I'm going to add a little twist on that based on what I know about the economy. If you work for 10 years and you switch jobs every 2 years, switching jobs to get promotions. So each one of these jobs, you need to be making more money, and you invest 50% of that into an index fund, you literally will be able to do whatever it is you want to do. And what I mean by that, and in the book, he calls it forget you money. He uses another word where the F goes, but I like to keep this channel very clean. So you'll have what's called forget you money. So if an employer says, hey, come back into the office, and you've relocated, or you're in a season where you're really able to nurture your children and spend more time with your spouse, and you're like, listen, I don't want to go back into the office, you will have enough money to be able to say, forget you, and quit. If after 10 years you're in a situation where you want to get married, settle down, and have children, if in 10 years you're in a situation where you want to travel the world, you want that experience, this amount of money will allow you to do that. And that's not to say you'll never have to go back to work. It all depends on what your 50% looks like and what it yields after 10 years, but it gives you freedom and flexibility. And the reason that I stated in the beginning of this point, some of you may feel like it's too late for you. You're 15, 20, 30 years into your job, and you need all of that income to live the life that you're living. You may want to start something on the side, as I mentioned, to be able to have that freedom and flexibility, and that you can save off of the extra and the surplus, investing it over the next 10 years. And maybe you're 40 and you're like, well, 10 years from now, I'm going to be 50. The time is going to pass you by anyway. But for those of you who have young adult children or young children or even grandchildren, this strategy gives you the opportunity to change your family's financial future, and it puts you in a position not to depend on the whims of big business and corporations. Look, I hope this information was helpful for you. If it was valuable, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more information like this, and check out my other videos that relate to this topic. Have a great one.